Hi, this is Parth Desai and Manos Brilakis, and this is case 221 for the Manual of Percutaneous Coronary Interventions. This is a case that involved overcoming several challenges related to calcification, tortuosity, and in-stent restenosis. The patient was a fairly young gentleman with previous coronary bypass graft surgery who had occlusion of two of the grafts. He came in with a lima-2 LAD and a vein graft to the ramus because of dyspnea and chest discomfort, and the culprit was the right coronary artery. He underwent PCI with atherectomy and placement of stents, and then that was complicated by wire entrapment in the distal right coronary artery. And then he presented again with significant in-stent restenosis. We have a 99% lesion in the mid-right coronary artery and significant disease distally. And the attempts to go through the mid-RCA were unsuccessful. The wire kept on entering into the subintimal or extraplaque space. So the patient came to our center. This is the MIP from the coronary CT, and we see the previous stents. There is diffuse disease and significant calcification distally. And this is the MPR from the right coronary artery. Again, these are the stents. And there is calcification in the distal vessel. How to approach this? Again, the challenge here is there's a very eccentric lesion. There are previous stents. How can we get through this part of the occlusion? And we explored alternative options, for example, going retrograde. There was a septal that seemed to provide some collaterals to the distal right coronary artery. So what we did is we tried to go Antegrade. We tried several wires. The wire kept on, like in the previous case, going into the extraplaque space. So we tried retrograde to the septal, SuO3, Sion black, but unfortunately we were unable to get through. Then we changed the view on the right coronary artery. This is the aerial view, and we see that the vessel is almost like an S. So the question is, how can we make this significant bend? And our plan was to use an angulated microcatheter. So we took a SuperCross 120, advanced the SuperCross all the way to that bend, and then using the SuperCross to provide the bend and a Sion black wire, we were able to take the bend with a Sion black wire and not dig into the subintimal space. So we were able to finally wire it in the Antegrade direction with the SuperCross 120. We predilated the lesion. It was hard to cross, but then we were able to get a 3.5 millimeter OPN that seemed to improve the stenosis, but although the balloon expanded, there was recoil of the lesion. And also, we did a mistake, which is inflating it over the standard Minamo guide wire, and then the OPN got stuck on the wire. As we were pulling it back, the shaft broke, and we have the balloon left inside the guide catheter. And this is how it looked like. This is, again, the shaft. This is the point of fracture. And we just could not get the wire separated from the OPN. And this is because we violated one of the basic rules of OPN, which is we want to use a body wire and use a wire that is less likely to be compressed and stuck, like the Grand Slam or a BMW guide wire. Fortunately, because we had predilated, we were able to rewire relatively easily. And then we then switched with a BMW wire and did intravascular ultrasound. And what we're seeing here is that this is the old stuck wire in the distal part of the right coronary artery that was partially under previously placed stents. And then we'll go here more proximal. The stent looks okay, but then more proximal, it was hard to get it expanded. So we tried again with various balloons. We had multiple balloons rupture in the mid-right coronary artery. We tried a non-compliant, another OPN 3.5, but had the same issue. We used a Grand Slam wire, but the problem is after we did that, we could not deliver any balloon to the right coronary artery, and we have seen that before, that by using a stiff wire, a stiff body wire, we can straighten the calcified artery and create wire bias that can be counterproductive. So we removed the Grand Slam, and we used the BMW wire, and then a guide extension. And we're able to get through, and the OP end seems to be okay at 45 atmosphere. So that gives us hope that we're able to expand the lesion. But immediately afterwards, they're still recoiled. We can still see there's an eccentric lesion there. So we decided to do atherectomy, 1.5 millimeter burr, did multiple passes in the right coronary artery. But unfortunately, while we took balloons afterwards, non-compliant, ScoreFlex and Angiosculpt, all 3 balloons ruptured in the mid-right coronary. So what to do? We thought about shockwave, but we thought it was going to rupture like the other balloons. We thought about laser, but laser is not as effective potentially in calcium. So we decided to go with a bigger burr. So this is a 1.75 millimeter burr. And after we did this, fortunately, we were able to deliver the balloons. And this time, we did not have a rupture of the balloon. And we did get decent expansion with a 3.5 balloon. So we ended up stenting. We put a 3.5 by 40 millimeter stent in the distal right coronary artery that was not stented before. We stented over the previous guide wire. And then we put a stent with a high radial strength. This is a Megatron, because we knew there was significant recoil in the mid-right coronary artery. And after we did that, we see that we have a decent result. It's not perfect. There's still some areas of under-expansion, but for the most part, we did have a nice result. And this is a nice result with a T3 flow in the right coronary artery, good expansion in the mid-RCA, and good expansion in the distal RCA. Several lessons from this case. The first one is that stent under-expansion can lead to in-stent restenosis, which is high risk, especially in heavily calcified and tortuous vessels. Second, to get through an area of tortuosity, the mid-RCA in our case, we had to use an angulated microcatheter, which worked out pretty well. Third, we did inflate the OPN balloon over a standard guide wire, which unfortunately led to balloon shaft fracture because the balloon got stuck on the wire, and as we pulled back, we got it fractured and we had to remove everything else. So when you use an OPM balloon, it's best to use a Grand Slam or BMW to minimize that risk of getting the balloon stuck. We had repeated balloon fractures, which is something that creates a lot of concern because balloon rupture can lead to perforation. And the way we solved this problem in this case was by doing rotational atherectomy with a 1.5 and then a 1.75 millimeter burr. Beware of placing stiff body wires in the tortuous vessel because they can cause pseudo lesions, straighten the vessel, and potentially hinder delivery. And sometimes softer wires may work better in this vessel. And finally, we did the knuckle twister technique, something I did not mention, but we briefly tried with a Sion black wire, bent 3 centimeters from the tip. We put it around this lost guide wire fragment and tried to rotate it several times, but unfortunately, we were unable to remove the lost wire fragment. Thank you.